So we're going to do this long division. This is like what we did yesterday. It even comes pre-set up for us, which is awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our first term of what we're dividing by, or what we're dividing, and divide it by what we're dividing by. I just said dividing about 8 times in that sentence. We're going to do a little baby fraction. 2x cubed divided by x. What do we have left? 2x squared. That's what goes up top. 2x squared. We take our 2x squared times the, holy chunky Batman, times the whole factor, and we put it underneath. 2x squared times x gives us, wrong pen, 2x cubed minus 4x squared. And then we subtract the whole line. Two x cubed minus 2x cubed gives us 0x cubed. That's the whole point, is for that to cancel out. Then we have -7 minus -4. -3x squared. Then I'm going to drop down these other pieces, my 7x and my -2. Round 1 complete. We're going to do the same thing, continuing down the polynomial here. -3x squared divided by x gives us -3x. And that's what goes up top, -3x. Because then when I take my -3x times this whole term and put it under here, we get -3x squared plus 6x. And we're going to subtract that whole line. I left my coffee over there. I got all settled in, and I left my coffee. So -3x squared minus -3x squared, 0x squared. So that is the whole gosh darn point, is to make one of these guys eliminate out. Then we have 7x minus 6x. 1x. There we go. We'll get another color. We'll get green. So we have 1x. And then our -2 is going to drop down. And we have to do one more cycle. We need to take our 1x over x. And what do we have? Just 1. So up here, we're going to have a +1. We're going to take that 1 times the whole term in the wrong color. There we go, green. And it's going to go under there, giving us x minus 2. And they both cancel out. We end up with 0x plus 0, so we have no remainder. And our answer is, no, not that one, 2x squared minus 3x plus 1 is our simplified division. That's our answer, our quotient. Okay? So my goodness, long division is long. I wonder if there's a shorter way to do it. We're going to do it today. I'm going to put up the instructions for it. It is literally a screenshot out of your book. If you are a list person, this is your list. I will walk you through it. I promise. It's going to be a giant wall of text. Breathe. It is called synthetic division. And honestly, this gets used in higher mathematics courses a lot because it is so much faster and simpler than long division. It does the same thing. Long division will work. Long division is just long. It does the exact same thing. So to use synthetic division, we have to have our polynomial in standard form. That's super important. Biggest to smallest exponent. We use the coefficients, which is the number in front. And we have to use the solution or root. That is the place where people make the most mistakes, is we use the wrong number. We need to use the root, the zero, the solution. And I promise I will walk you through it because right now this is just a whole wall of gibberish. Okay, but if you are a list person, this is your list. Rather, it's a step-by-step. This is in your workbook. That workbook that I gave you at the very start of the year that we haven't touched since then. It's in there. It's on page 243. It's this exact paragraph. So we have our polynomial in standard form with our coefficients and our root. The benefit of synthetic division is instead of multiplying, or instead of subtracting, we're going to use adding. So it's going to be easier on our signs. Okay? We are going to take our time on these and make sure we hit every step of them carefully. They go significantly faster than long division, so we should be able to get through all 4 that I want to do today. And still have work time. Like, they go that much faster. Okay? I'm going to switch the page. It's going to keep the wall of text up, but it's just going to give us a problem on the side. Steps 3, 4, and 5 are almost identical to what it just said. Okay? So it still has the wall of text up. It's just being specific about this. This is going to be our first problem that we do. So you want to write this down. 3x cubed minus 2x squared minus 53x minus 60 divided by x plus 3. This is our first problem that we're going to do. And yes, we could do this with long division because we're awesome. We just did long division. That's what the bell work was. But I'd really like it if we didn't have to take 10 minutes to do every single problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to take division and literally turn it on its head. So I am going to draw my division house upside down. And this is what we base our synthetic division out of. I'm going to do it kind of chunky. Inside the box, we are going to put our coefficients in order without skipping any terms or any numbers from left to right. So I'm going to take my coefficient of x cubed, which is 3. So we have 3x cubed. So I'm going to put a 3 right here. Leave yourself a little space right here. You need a row. So I'm going to put my 3. Then I'm going to take my coefficient for the next term down, which is negative 2x squared. So I'm going to put a minus 2. Then we're going to come to our next term, which is negative 53x. So I'm going to put minus 53. And our last term is minus 60. And I'm on the wall, but I got it in. So we take our just the numbers, no x's. You should never have an x inside your synthetic division. No letters. Just numbers. On the outside, what we're having in the divided by spot is the solution of x plus 3. This guy, it's what we're dividing by. We need its root. What is the root for x plus 3? It's -3. When we would set x plus 3 equal to 0 to find our solution. So that goes out here. This is how we set it up. This is the entire thing set up. Next, we're going to start it on the process. And it's going to feel super weird and like we're doing one of those math tricks with like emojis stuff. It's going to feel super weird. Our first number drops. So the 3 just comes on down. And he goes down below outside the line. Then we're going to take our this 3 times this -3, and it goes right here. 3 times -3 gives us -9. And I'm going to write that over here. My black 3 times my green -3 equals my blue -9. That's where I got that from. And then here's where we love synthetic more than long division, is because -2 plus -9. We don't have to play sign games. -2 plus -9, -11. That would have been one entire long division cycle to get there. And then we do that again. I'm going to take my -11 times my -3. -11 times green -3 equals -11 times -3 is +33. And that goes under the 53. I'm going to put that +33 right here. We take the bottom times the side and put it in the middle. And then again, we're going to add the column. -53 plus 33, -20. So then we get to do this one more time. -20 times -3. And we get, ooh, wrong color. We get +60. Over here we get 60. And then again, we're going to add them together. And we get 0. This last term is always our remainder, which for the most part is going to be 0. Not every time, but most of the time it's going to be 0. Significantly more times than not. And what these are the coefficients that would have been on the top of our long division. So we started with an x cubed. We divided by 1x, so this is going to be 1 level down, 1 degree down. So this is going to be the coefficient for my x squared. This is going to be my coefficient for a just x. And this is my constant. which we just tend to call c, but it's just the number on the end. So our polynomial that would have been on top is 3x squared minus 11x minus 20. So it takes up less space. Once we get the hang of it, it's faster, but it's just super awkward to get used to. And that's totally normal. But this comes up in higher order math classes for a very, very long time. And what that means is I used it last week in my grad course. Yeah, we've used synthetic division in my graduate level math course. So you can use it for years and years and years and years and years and years. And it's just faster. Because that's the whole thing, and that is all the work, and that is done. And even stretching it, we took 5 minutes. Okay? Questions as it is right now? I know it's awkward, and I know it's weird, and we just finally saw what the heck we were doing. Yes, dear?
Where did you get the x squared and the x?
Because we have an x cubed that we started with, it's going to go down 1 degree when we divide. So since it was x cubed, we're going to go down 1 level. That's how we know it's going to be an x squared here. Synthetic division always spits out the coefficients that we have. Good question. Good question. All right, let's do another one. Now it's not going to have the giant wall of text. We'll have to be able to see stuff. So here's our next polynomial that we're going to divide. So we've got 3x to the 4th plus 4x cubed minus 32x squared minus 5x minus 20, all being divided by x plus 4. So I'm going to use synthetic division, so I'm going to flip my division house upside down and give it some space, because I need to be able to write 2 rows in it. It's always a good idea to double check that we have all of our terms here. So I have a constant, I have an x, I have an x squared, I have an x cubed, and I have x to the 4th. And they're in order from biggest to smallest. We love that. That's how it's supposed to be. Because then I'm just going to take my coefficients and write them down. I have a 3, then a 4, then negative 32, then negative 5, and then negative 20. Outside the box is where we're going to have our solution for this piece. If x plus 4 is our factor, what is our root? Negative 4. So negative 4 is what goes outside here. The biggest mistake I see in synthetic division is using the wrong number outside. It's gotta be your root for this. Don't just put a 4, it's negative 4. Questions on the setup? Now that we've been through it once, we're starting to see where all the pieces come from and where they're gonna go. Okay. First term just drops straight on down. That first term always just drops. Drop it like it's hot. So then we're going to take this 3 times the negative 4 and put it here. What is 3 times negative 4? Negative 12. And then we add them together. 4 plus negative 12 negative 8. Then we're taking our negative 8 times our negative 4, and we get positive 32. And then we add them together, and we get 0. Then I'm going to take my 0 times my negative 4. What is 0 times negative 4? 0. Negative 5 plus 0. Negative 5. One more. Negative 5 times our negative 4. 20. Negative 20 plus 20 is 0. Our last term is always the remainder. And most of the time, it's going to be 0. I say most because I made a typo on one of the homeworks and we wind up with a remainder. Questions on the how we filled in the table part? Because now all we got to do is write our answer. We have it, it's just weird. So you can either start with the fact that I know this was a fourth or a quartic and go down a level, or you can know we always have a constant at the end and it's going to count up. So this is going to be my constant. This is my x. This is going to be my x squared term. And this is going to be my x cubed. It doesn't matter to me which way you order it. Just know it comes in that order. Because our solution is 3x cubed minus 8x squared plus 0 x's, which we don't have to write. You can if you want to, but you don't have to, minus 5. So much faster than long division. So much faster. Okay, now we've been through it twice. Questions. Because now we can actually see what we don't remember and what we don't figure out. Because we're going to do 2 more of these to keep practicing. So if you have questions that pop up, please, please, please ask them. It's weird and it's awkward. Once we get the hang of it, you can just like and fly through it. But it's awkward and it takes some getting used to, and that's okay, and that's totally normal. Okay? So let's do another one. Got a cube this time. X cubed minus 6x squared plus 10x minus 3, all divided by x minus 3. I'm going to draw my little upside-downy house, my synthetic division structure. And then we're going to start listing our coefficients from biggest to smallest. Before I do that, I want to make sure we've got them all. I've got a constant, and then I've got an x, and then an x squared, and then an x cubed. So we're good. It didn't skip anything. I'll show you what it looks like when it does next one. All right, so let's take our coefficients across. What is the coefficient on x cubed? 1. What's my coefficient for my x squared? Negative 6. Watch our signs. Those are really important. Coefficient for x? 10. And what's my constant? Negative 3. And what's going to go over here? 3. It's going to be our solution from this one. It's a positive 3 this time. Our first term always drops it like it's hot. First term always drops. Then we take our 1 times 3 and put it here. So what's going underneath the 6? 3. What's up? Teaching a class, man. Yeah, come back later. All right, what's going to go down here? Negative 3. Negative 6 plus 3 gives us negative 3. What's going to go here? Negative 9. Negative 3 times our 3 to the side, which I said 3 too many times, so I started to write it. This was our blue negative 3 times our black 3 going here. So what goes down here? 1. So what goes here? 3. And what's our remainder? 0. This last term is always our remainder. And our solution, we have a constant with the 1 at the end. We have an x, and we have an x squared. It always goes down 1 degree from here. So it was an x cubed, now it's an x squared. So our solution is 1x squared minus 3x's plus 1. And that's our solution. We just have one more. But we've checked something every single time and never had an issue with it. I wonder if we're going to face that problem I've teased about. Okay. Last one. Got x cubed plus 8 divided by x plus 2. Well, it's in standard form. It goes from biggest to smallest, but it skips a couple. So we still need to include the coefficients for the terms that were skipped. So I could rewrite this as x cubed plus, how many x squareds do we have? 0 x squareds. How many x's do I have? 0 x's plus 8. So we still need to have coefficients for these terms when we put it into our synthetic division. This will be the other place where people make mistakes. If we have a term that's missed, you still got to put a 0. Super duper 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 extra important. So then we're ready to build it. Our coefficients are going to be 1, 0, 0, and 8. You've got to include a coefficient for every term up to your biggest. Every single one. What are we dividing by over here? What's going to go over here? Negative 2. It's the solution for my factor. And we're ready to kind of through our frame. First term always drops it like it's hot. Love a Snoop Dogg reference. What's going to go here? Negative 2. We add 0 plus negative 2, and we get negative 2. That one's boring. Negative 2 times negative 2, and we get positive 4. 0 plus 4, 4. Then we're going to have our 4 times our negative 2, and we get negative 8. What's our remainder? 0. So our polynomial solution, remember this is our constant, this is our x, and this is our x squared. We have 1x squared minus 2x plus 4. Okay? So synthetic division is super fast once we get the hang of it. Super fast. It gives us the exact same answer as if we did long division. Synthetic division just is, you have to know it to be able to use it. Long division we can kind of figure out because we've been familiar with long division for literal years. But synthetic division is new, but it's faster. So, yeah, that's kind of the vibe. Monday, what we're going to do is we're going to practice with division more. We'll go back through it because we will sleep twice before we do our division again. So Monday we'll go through that. Tuesday and Wednesday a review. Our test is Thursday. And Friday we're going to use that as catch-up time, make up some missing work if some people want to start on corrections for something. So that we can look at maybe some retakes before we get into finals. Because finals are coming up. Once we get back from Thanksgiving break, it's going to go really fast. We will have, after Thanksgiving break, we'll have 2 quizzes and the final, and that's it. Okay? So it's not a ton of stuff to do. But, so that's kind of the general plan for the rest of the year. Next week, it's Monday, going through division again. So it's not new and it's not going to be a new homework. We're going to go through the division again. Tuesday, Wednesday review, Thursday test, Friday survive. We'll just be here. Okay, so that's the vibe. You guys have 10 minutes to work on stuff. Work on homework 4.4. The back side has synthetic division stuff. These two.
Did you write the remainder as?
The fraction-y kind of thing, just like we had before. Yeah. Yeah, that would be why I mentioned the remainder, because that 100% was supposed to come out nicely, and it definitely didn't. All right. Yes.